Holy smokers, Phoenix is rising. Tennille here. And this day, we're going to talk about how the cluster B personality slimes you. The title, You've Been Slimed. Quickly, I am a transformational coach and a narc coach. And my focus is on Black, lesbian, and trans women who are 30 to 50 years old and who are ready to follow the 4 steps in transforming their life, especially after being in relationship with toxic and character disturbed people, also known as cluster B personalities. So, without further ado, let's get into our prayers. Psalms 23 and Psalms 91. Psalms 23, the Lord is our shepherd, we shall not want. He maketh us to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth us beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. At the beginning, you guys heard me say we, and that's because I pray for me and my soul tribe, as well as my fur babies. So to be inclusive, when I'm doing my own personal morning meditations, I always say we, with them in mind. All right, Psalms 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder. The young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and shew him my salvation. And every time I do this, because I'm in my prayer folders and my Google photos, and there's a prayer against witchcraft that I've been saying, and it helps. That I always want to say every time I get in that folder, because it, like I said, it's part of my regimen, morning regimen, and I suggest you guys get one too. If you're going to work with me, it'll be a requirement, not in what you believe in, but to make sure that you are constantly spiritually elevated, because this battle, Phoenix, is, it's not for the weak. And we think, and it's weird because the reason why I have to remind myself is because I am constantly under attack. Constantly. And I know you guys are too. And there's times where we just go on autopilot and we allow ourselves to be zombified. We allow the slime to weigh us down, to sink in. Okay? That slime is not our etheric body or our light bodies or the Taurus field or our prana. It's not our Ori. That is the slime of the cluster B personality. And I'll tell you what, as many of you know, I am all the clairs. And it's not that I consciously go out, because I have done everything on my own. I've raised myself. You know, I pay my own bills. I do, I walk because I can't. One thing that I've realized, when you know who you are and you realize that other people know who you are, and no matter their appearance, this is why you have to get used to the fact that cluster B personalities wear multiple masks for every occasion, because they're always collecting data, like Star Trek data, right? Always collecting data and trying to understand why people do what they do, because they are devoid of a soul. Therefore, they are devoid of empathy. They're devoid of being able to process the complexity of what it is to be a spiritual being having a human experience, because their only purpose is to steal, kill, and destroy. And though they may be creative in how they accomplish those goals, they still work from the same template. And so a lot of us, we don't know, when you think about these women and men, but again, my focus is the LGBTQ Black community, lesbians and trans. So if you're out there and you've come across this video, welcome. Please subscribe and ring the bell. There's a variety of topics here, as I am not a monolithic coach. I am not a book coach, though I may have you work on worksheets. But I am coming to you as a coach, life coach, and a transformational coach, and a goal coach, and a NARC coach, a cluster B coach, to help you get through and heal from what has happened to you, because I went through it. Especially, I went through it for over 15 years. So the 3 years that I was homeless was when I really had to transform, because it's hard being in an environment. I couldn't imagine being in Chicago with that demonic energy there. Sacramento, California, same way. It's a hub for sex traffickers and pedos. And I'm not, it's real. Like, that is, when you go into that city, the first thing you notice is that you are covered with something. The plates aren't sitting straight on the table. Everybody looks guilty. They act like they're getting ready to be attacked. If you go to my YouTube channel under the playlist Blue Phoenix Rising, that's a documentary. You can also go to, and if you want to donate for the documentary, you can read it on the ticker there. Please either screen capture it if you're on your mobile, or even on your laptop. You can do a screen capture too, just so you have it for you. If I get 100 people who can donate $1, then I can keep doing this, because like I said, the battle is real. I avoided being homeless, but not short from these people trying. Pardon me. So anyway, Sacramento, and I'm telling the story about how I became homeless in that playlist, Blue Phoenix Rising. And right now, I think I just uploaded episode 6, which won't be seen until next week. So I'm trying to get at least 1 or 2 videos out for, every week for you guys to, just to keep you reinforcing. I've been through this. I have had people after me with the specific purpose of killing me because my light was shining. I have people doing witchcraft on me daily because they don't have jobs. There's several people that I talk about on this podcast, because they are sex offenders and they are women. And I don't, as if I am focused on guiding my LGBT, the Black, lesbian, and trans 30 to 50 to healing, I have to let you know that I have been essayed by women. And not all the time has it been in the physical, but in the spiritual. Some people can't tell reality from their fantasies. They are constantly in a virtual world playground. They never leave. There's as much, and I love anime, so my anime lovers will know that there are some RPG-esque, well, not esque, but like the Overlord, these Japanese animations that are based off of games, right? And now they're a cartoon series. And there's one where I forget the name of it, but you guys help me out in the comments, please. There's one where they are trapped. All of a sudden, the system goes down. That's a cluster B personality that's been getting away with doing sliming people. And the slime is made to, it's kind of like a bubble, a sealant, like saran wrap, right? Like a spider wraps a fly for later to drain their essence. That's what a cluster B is. That's what they do. So a lot of times when we're in that relationship and we feel so dull and we feel depressed or whatever, it's because they have shut off our light. They have shut off our means to get to source, which is our authentic self, right? They've cut off communication. I know this personally because, again, I am all the clairs, which includes clairaudient. So for example, I have a somebody who works at the hotel that I'm staying at, and God said that they were going to reveal to me who all these people were, because I asked. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and ye shall find, right? So I asked. I said, Most High, I want to know exactly who these people are, because I don't want them. People say, "Oh, don't gloat about what if your enemies get their comeuppance." You better believe Tennille is going to rejoice when they lock Ogre Texador up, because she's had too long of a run. And I remember my spiritual mother telling me a long time ago, this is when I was 19, we met, and she said, "Daughter, they'll be attracted to you." She was a seer. She was a Christian witch. She was now I don't want to say witch, because it's, unfortunately in America, it's been dulled like everything else of power. She was a Christian Age. Okay. She said, "They will flock to you like a moth to a flame, and they will not stop until they have consumed you." Now, she didn't know she didn't use the term narcissist. She didn't use the term cluster B personality. But I tell you what, when this started for me was after 9/11, right? And I think everybody, that was a spell that was cast globally, at least here in the States. But you know what I mean? They narcissists have to traumatize you. They create that trauma bond, that there's a problem now, and I'm not working and I'm not functioning the way that I should, the way that I normally would. Another example is that I know I'm skipping around, but I'll come back through. Another example is my body has been attacked because this person, Olga Texador, this creature, this demon that targets specifically Black children. If you guys have ever there's a documentary and I think even a movie about the Atlanta children where the KKK members were targeting young child Black males and SAing them and then unaliving them. This is a woman of quote unquote color. And we have to be very, 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 very clear and cautious of who we consider POC, because the first shall be last, the last shall be first. Some POC have been waiting to have that white supremacist torch passed to them, and they've been biding their time. and they've made pacts with those who have been in power all this time. And you're thinking, hey, well, America's fallen. It's being destroyed. No more white supremacy. And that's limited, right? I have said before, you have to die to everything that you think that you know about yourself, about your world, about everything, so that you can be reborn. When a caterpillar builds its cocoon, the only reason why it can transform into a butterfly is because it has broken itself. Talk about a dark night of the soul. It is nothing but slime, and it's just nothing but liquids and residual of its former self. If you want to be built, and to get to your authentic self, you have to chip away. You have to break yourself apart. You have to cut out the decay. You have to acknowledge that this is no longer necessary, and this needs to, in this other form, in this other life, I am not getting anywhere. I've lived up to this point, and I'm grateful. Now it's time to transform. That's exactly what it's doing, because it's become two different species. We can't use the tools of the masters without knowing how they came about you to use those tools. You can't keep wanting and that the fawning, fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn. Sorry, allergies. The fawning part is, I want everybody to like me because and so I'm going to accept everybody in, even though I can see that they have a knife or a bazooka or a semi-automatic behind their back, but maybe they won't use it on me, because I'm one of the good ones, or whatever. See, when we're dealing with cluster B personalities, they're putting their stench on us. My dad put his stench on me, so when I got into foster care, other people could smell, who were predatory like him, could smell that stench. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. We didn't know what they were. Other predators could smell the slime that he had spewed out on me, and that his higher self is a demon. And if it was not for my spiritual team, many would have done more than SA me. Many would have done more than just try and run me over. But that's why they slime you. They slime you because if you get away, somebody else can start up where they got off, where they left off. Right? So as a coach, I am giving you tools that will help you on your dark night of the soul journey, to excavate, to your higher self, to basically destroy what you think that you are and rebuild you as what you actually are, what you've always been. I'm giving you, by me telling my story and doing this podcast, which it's been shadow banned for the last I think this is the second year that I've had it up. I don't know. And I keep going, because God keeps saying, hey, talk about this, talk about that. And I'm like, look, I don't have enough followers. I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, obviously to me, sometimes it feels like, okay, nobody cares. I'm just doing this. But still, God says, hey, go ahead and do this. Come on now. It's not over yet. I'm going to talk about this in another podcast, but just to break, kind of give you a little bit of what I'm getting ready to talk about. The sliming is basically encasing you like like a science experiment. Imagine if you were on an alien. If you guys have also, I mean, I love sci-fi, right? Because sci-fi is the supernatural. Sci-fi is the world around us. That's why I love it. So we've seen this where people clones are in gas or glass containers and with all this fluid and stuff like that. That's basically what's happening. And I'll share this with you again. Clairaudient, clairsentient, all this, but also able to see into the spirit realm what this person was doing. And it's been very irritating to me lately, and it always is until this person is actually shut down. And again, I'm going to post a word from the Most High that I have to keep being reminded, because this person has, when you get slimed, they're not only they're trying to restrict your mobility, if not just paralyze you. Right? So sometimes that slime can paralyze you from, going and getting your hair done, going for a walk. I'm an avid, I have so much energy. Like, I'm still trying to get my energy back, you know? And it's not because it's never been there. It's just, it's it's because this person, this creature, and in this covenant has been so mad because I keep getting back up and I walk. I mean, the way my weight now, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, you know what, Tennille, I still love you. It's not your fault, but I'm going to love your big butt. I'm going to love your big tits. I'm going to love everything about you, because this isn't because of you. And I know, even though it's manifested in us, it's not because of us. But you have to have done the work, like I have, and I continue to do throughout my daily life. You know, when you go through that process of being a caterpillar to a butterfly, there's no way you can go back. Like I said, because you can't go back to being a caterpillar ever. And they're mad about that. And these dingleberries, they know that they have lost, but they don't know what else to do, so they keep doing the same thing. So this person has kept attacking my body. I have had people inside of my like projecting residual, like a hologram almost of themselves, from what I've seen. So here's an example. I have so many examples, it's just not funny. But the recent example was I was at work and I'm doing my rounds, and there's a trademark feeling, because this person is a sociopath. Sociopaths are OCD. And not just OCD, but they're creatures of habit. They will do, they do the same thing over and over and over again to their victims. So this person always enters in my body through two ways, and there is no soft spot. There is no opening. Understand that. Just like when somebody essays somebody, it's not because of what they're wearing, it's because of the glow around them, and they want to take that for themselves. Smash and grab. When people go into a Target or a Walmart or whatever, they go in a diamond jewelry store. Like, I've seen these movies and I'm like, oh my God, or these videos on TikTok and whatever. And it's like, oh my God, really? You just went in there and you smashed up that store and you didn't get shot? Especially with the Black people in there. It's like, okay, well, but then when you get pulled over by the cops, the first thing you're going to talk about is it's because of your race, instead of it's karma come and your chicken's coming home to roost. You know what I mean? So that's why I said you got to tap out, because doing this journey, you can't take any dead weight. Because if you're relying on, oh, well, that's another Black man or woman and I need to defend them. No, you don't. If you haven't seen other cultures, POC or not, have done this, they'll hide the pedos. They'll hide the rapists. They'll hide the embezzlers. They'll hide the sex traffickers. But yet, for some reason, they want Black people in the Black community to feel guilty when it's like, oh, well, I wouldn't talk about my own. I had somebody say, oh, a Mexican guy say, oh, I wouldn't talk about my own. Well, but you're a murderer. And that's what he was. He was a murderer. It's not the first time. I mean, he was a murderer for hire for the Northaniels, you know? And I believe actually that he was there to murk me, but he didn't end up doing it. Praises be to the Most High, because that is what I got. You know, I guess there's some benefits to being an empath because he started telling me his life. He felt comfortable with me, you know? But I was at work, finished my example, was at work, minding my own business. This person, this demon, Olga Texador, the reason why she's a DJ at the Mango in San Francisco, I believe. And she got to be a DJ by taking on somebody else's persona. So she'll learn through astral projecting and inserting herself. Like if you guys haven't watched the movie Ghost, that's a great prime example where Patrick Swayze's character goes into LMA, which is Whoopi Goldberg, and she's a psychic medium, kind of a fraud, a hustler, but she's actually really doing it this time, right? And so he talks to his fiance through LMA by going into her body. Okay? So, but imagine that somebody is doing that to you that does not have any permission. They're not going to ask. They've read your chart. They know they got into your Akashic record sometime, somehow. Like the first time that I, in dealing with this whole thing, see, as I said, this makes me a good coach because, the Most High, and I was fasting to starving myself because I had to, because the warfare was so thick. So that's why I say whatever weight I am is what I am. It sucks because that wasn't my goal. My lifestyle at that time does not resemble the way that I look now. Right? So that, sometimes when they do those rituals and spells and it's worn itself out, you've sent it back. And again, we'll get into the mantra that can protect you from this. But when you send it back, sometimes they're holding it because they're refusing it. They're like, no, that's you. And it's like, no, that came from you. So you're kind of like tennis matching it, right? And then like, for instance, any transition, your menstrual cycle, they use as an opening because a lot of us are vulnerable and become motherly and very sensitive and emotional, right? And so they think, our guard is a little bit down, right? So, or we have a death in the family, guard goes a little bit down. All of a sudden, when my mom died in 2019, I literally gained weight overnight because whatever was on her, and I don't know why, I had to process basically, and I was so mad about this, damn it. So not only am I dealing with witchcraft from the Northaniels and Olga Texador, who was a part of that cult, but I'm dealing now. My dead mother didn't go to the golden child or any other sibling, but she decided that she was going to, or the universe, I guess, decided that all her sins were going to go to me. And I didn't understand that. And I think it wasn't until like 2 years later that, like if you guys have ever seen Highlander, right? So they fight each other. These are Celtic, Celtic warriors or warriors who have immortality. The only way that they can die is by decapitation. And so after you decapitate your opponent, you absorb their powers. Their powers normally will be siphoned back to you, or you know what I mean? You'll just automatically, whether you want to or not. And so I was kind of confused because I was like, okay, I don't want all this crap. You know what I mean? This was her life. She did this shit, not me. And I was really fuming. I didn't understand until later, but I can't really articulate it because it was just kind of annoying, Anyway, but I gained weight overnight. So, and that's something when these cluster B personalities Like, again, they slime you because they want other people, other in the spiritual realm, other creatures in the spiritual realm to know that they're yours. For instance, okay, so let me get to it. But Olga Texador had said, had walked me around when I had lived with her before becoming homeless. So she discarded me, and I just decided, okay, I'm going to go on my journey. I'm not going to rely on anybody else, because she was like the second person that I had lived with who wanted to basically abuse me in all way, shapes, and form, because they wanted to exploit my situation. Right? You see all these homeless that are on the street now, and it's I got triggered the other day because being at the hotel and I had to leave, and I'm like, and the lady had said, hey, okay, I suppose I could give you a ride over here or whatever, and that didn't end up happening, and so I expended a lot of money. But anyway, I was mad about that because it's like, okay, I didn't even do this. So now these guys, when you're dealing with people who are toxic and who are narcissistic personalities, they always try and play like the victim, you know. So anyway, let me get back to it. So dealing with Olga Texador and being clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, and just being able to see into the spiritual world, I was standing at my post, and again, as I've said, Olga is a body snatcher. She will snatch your personality and snatch your life. The way that she does that is that she does the Patrick Swayze and Ella May, where she binds with your body, okay, to pretend like she's you. But in her mind, she is actually you. She's feeling, she's eating what you eat. She's, reading your thoughts as you're thinking them. She's doing all of that. Okay. I don't know how she's gotten to do it because I didn't give her permission to be in my body. She's been told to get out and she's been removed. I was ecstatic to see that. She was removed by one of my guides. I called on him and he yanked her out like nobody's business, and it scared the shit out of her. So, and I mean, this was 2.5 years ago. So this woman has been doing this shit for a long time, where she's body snatching. She has multiple people, and not even that, but she'll pretend as if, when you have somebody who is a cluster B personality, you have all this cocktail. So you have the histrionic who always thinks that you're attracted to them or whatever, and she gets fascinated, and so she'll try and influence you to, pleasure yourself so she can get off on it. Right? I had the lady from this hotel where she was sending me lust vibes. And every time that I would come into and she's so arrogant and cocky, and that's what it's like, nope, you're not going to get away with it. I am tired of being raped, and it's these are women. And so the rape starts energetically before it gets physical, because they're already imagining what they're going to do to you and how you're going to do it. I know when I was dating, before I got just plain, tired of it. When I was dating, people would be, be disappointed. Oh, well, I thought that you would act like that because you were already fantasizing about me. And we'll see with people who with cluster B. So this woman at this hotel, she was fantasizing about me. She was in my energy. Come to find out, the Most High revealed to me, she's been after you before you even moved here. She had been watching and waiting for you to come. And I knew that, because I was like, okay, I know that this, for some reason, there's this familiarity. And she's so arrogant that she just acts like, oh, it's nothing. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not doing anything wrong. I haven't done anything wrong. It's like that defensive, how people get really defensive and their energy is really heightened and like they're getting ready to flash on anybody at any time, right? That's how she is, and because there's nothing, you've already violated me. And I thought that it was no coincidence. And I told the most in meditation today, I asked the Most High, I was like, well, I just made a comment. It's like, it feels like this environment is like somebody is trying to reconstruct what we just left in this environment. This environment has been an environment of peace for the most part. Whereas where I left, it was inundated with the blood, the bodies, the pain, the trauma of kids, of women, of the homeless. We were inundated because that's what they like. When you're dealing with cluster B, as I had with my roommate, I was in doing this. Don't forget to check out the documentary in my playlist, please. Blue Phoenix Rising. Um, there's 6 episodes up now, but so in going over and doing this documentary and getting my story out, I realized it's like that roommate that I had. She needed an excuse. She made up an excuse. She didn't have to go all out like she did, because even she forgot. She had to hold on to excuses. Once somebody gave her something that she thought that she could use or hang over my head, then it was, oh, okay, so now I got this. The thing that she wasn't counting on was me leaving, which is totally, absolutely amazing to me, because that is a form of discard, even though I had to flee for my life with my babies. Because you know what I mean? Because I didn't want to hurt her, and I didn't want to hurt, I didn't want to go to jail. I wanted to hurt her. To be honest, I wanted to hurt her bad, and I knew that I could. But what I wanted to do too was to go was to go and tack with the girls. Once she started, attacking my babies and stuff like this, it was like, gosh, and I felt like that elephant that wasn't chained to anything, but knew that they had to stay put. You know what I mean? Like I'm good. Yes, the boss. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like that. And that I had that feeling today, which was really weird because cluster B personalities. Now, this woman's married. Okay. So the woman who was flirting with me, but projecting lust towards me and getting into my energy. Cause she would always do it. I would always, every time I would get on the site and get off the train and get on the site, that I could feel her presence. I could literally feel her stretching. You know how somebody will, like, they're not saying anything to you, but they keep looking at you and you look away, but you can still feel their eyes on you. That's her. So she's in the office and she's pining to see, and I can feel her presence all the way up until I get into my door. And I've had this happen too many times. That's why I've told people, it's like, I know it may seem strange to you, but it's a fact. Cluster B personalities, when you're dealing with narcissists, they don't let go. My dad never let go of me. My mom never let go of me. I had never talked to her, and she was, according to her and my siblings, oh, she would always talk about you and cry over you and da da da. She ain't crying, but this lady, Olga Texador, is crying over me too. But you know why they're crying? Because they've lost control, and they're literally throwing a 3-year-old tantrum. That's the only reason why. So anyway, as I'm sitting on my post, right, this person, I've gotten strong enough, which my goal is to get my Phoenixes Rising to be strong. I want you to recognize their tricks and their traits, even if it's insidious, because sometimes they'll come in when they think that you don't know that they're using witchcraft or any type of energetic or psychic or telepathic projection onto you. Then they do it real full board. Once they know that they're not going to stop. This lady in the office hasn't stopped. She's still clinging to me. She just is not used to, because she's not used to, she's like, has to question herself. So the gaslighting and confusion that they're trying to put you through gets reversed. It backfires back on them, because they can't say, oh, you're throwing the negative energy that I'm projecting or throwing at you, back to me. And now I'm having to suffer. Now I got car problems. Now I got health problems. I got all these problems. They can't say it back, right? So anyway, but they still stay in your energy. So Olga has been fighting me for my life and my body for a long time, because she believes that I'm going to be something that she wants, which is not hard. You know what I mean? When you have a predilection to SA children, and especially ones who are Black, I guess I would want to run from myself too. But you can't. You're not. When you don't have permission, that's a violation of that person's empire, that person's sanctuary. I am the Ark of the Covenant. And the reason why we get our blessings, Phoenix, is and we don't have to go through certain things. And a lot of us will try and like the prodigal son, he left his blessing. Maybe somebody said something, right? I don't know. It could be a mistranslation, or they may have omitted some stuff. But how many of us have left our blessings because somebody got mad that we were blessed? Or we have to water it down or not talk to it to certain people because we can feel that tinge of jealousy, that envy. And we know what happens when we get that jealousy and that envy. The person was mad because I mean, didn't understand, didn't say, okay, hey, I'm working. And really, I worked out 7 days a week. That's why it's like, and I had to take a break, not just because of, just, I had to take a break. My body was like, we need to rest, dude. We can't keep going. But in that rest, it's not a normal rest when you're still having all these aches and pains. And, and I know the difference. You'll know the difference when you get to know yourself. You get to know how your body reacts, how when your Taurus field is being penetrated, when your etheric body is being penetrated, all those, what I mean? You understand what's happening. Okay. But anyway, let me get off that. So, but this person wanted to penetrate my etheric body and to pretend like she was me. And so I saw her at the corner left because she was her trademark is to come in from my right through my ankle. And then, and she's a 500-pound bitch. I'm not kidding. So with her, and also what she's been doing is messing with my thyroid. I don't have thyroid problems, you guys. I don't. But when somebody, and just like they tried to cause me to have a heart attack, you have to understand that there are people who have abilities, who have worked on these abilities to attack people so that they don't have to go to prison. They don't have to take responsibility, and they get to watch it happening through the astral realm. I have never, ever, 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 ever had somebody, they tried to give me high blood pressure. All of a sudden, my blood pressure went up, and I heard a voice said, just like your mom. My mom died of high blood pressure. And they created, so what they did, and I think that this was a family member. This was the golden child and another nasty piece of crap who had done this to my mom. And again, like I said, it's not easy being who we are, because we're always shown or treated, like we're cuckoo, like we're not stable. But anyway, so I've had them do that. And so then when they started using a voodoo doll or of some sort. It's not a traditional voodoo doll. It's a black doll with red lips. And I've tried to get into the eyes are there, but it's black. And so what started happening is I would get sharp pains in my thighs and my legs, right? And that was meant to open me up and to try and make me weak, try and attack my organs, attack my digestive system especially. But that didn't help either, because I eat boxes, buckets of salad. And I mean, like, not cucumber lettuce or anything, or, what, iceberg lettuce or whatever. I eat real stuff, and so anyway, so she was trying to come in from the right, and I didn't look at anything. I just kind of centered myself, and I said, no. I said, you're not effing coming in here. I am tired of you harassing me. You know that you're breaking spiritual laws. You are not going to live vicariously through me. You are already in debt to me. Your race and your culture and your bloodline are in debt to me. You assaulted somebody who was royal. You assaulted somebody who didn't do anything to you because of jealousy. You're not coming in. So she literally went over to the other side, my left side, and what I saw was kind of like, if you guys have ever seen Jabba the Hutt, right, in Star Wars. What I saw was this big woman, and I could tell that it was her because of the silhouette of her. This big woman who was just talking at me. I could feel her talking at me and trying to get me into this kind of dreamy state because she wanted to enter. She wanted to take something from me. Okay. Another thing that you will find, and sometimes these cluster B people, and God wanted me to say this to you guys. Sometimes they don't know that they're doing witchcraft stuff because they're possessed, right? They've been possessed. It's been normalized in them. They know it's not that they don't know what they're doing, but they don't see it as anything different, if that makes sense. So I lost my backpack and immediately I decreed, see, when you know yourself and you know your worth, they have no right to steal anything from you. That's how desperate she was to get into my body. So the slime, again, sometimes I have long since I keep purging this creature out. I keep purging it out. The residual of her witchcraft and rituals and all this. So when she got mad, it's like she's yelling at me and she's saying, but she could never do it face to face. And I know because I almost beat her down. They literally, my guide, the same guide that had to rip her out of my of my consciousness, had to hold me back. And I mean that. Like my guide has held me back on 2 different occasions when I've wanted to go after Olga Texador and the succubus. And we've gotten into arguments because they've held me back. Like, if you're on one hand, you're not stopping it, but you're stopping me. But it's not taking my faith that I will be compensated, but it's frustrating as a human, as a spiritual being having a human experience, because I am feeling this in the flesh. These guys have tried. I mean, you know what it feels like to suddenly have high blood pressure, but there's nothing wrong with you. And I had the doctor's check. I had called 911. God said, call 911 because I need you to know that what they're doing, that this is not you. This is not real. They checked my vitals. There was nothing wrong with me. Nothing. I have the payment. I have the bill. You understand? I have the bill. I have the fire bill. So there was nothing wrong with me. So with how you get from being slime, let me get to this. So basically she was talking all this stuff, and when anybody spews venom at you, you get a little bit discombobulated. I don't so much. It doesn't mean that it doesn't affect me, but it doesn't affect me as much as she would like to. Right. But this day, so I put my backpack on, but it was all a blur. So what they'll try and do is cause you to have confusion and amnesia at the same time, because they have to confuse you so you don't realize what they're doing or what has been done ever. That's how desperate they are to be in your energy. Okay. That's how desperate they are. So, I decreed back to her immediately. And sometimes it's fun. You get tired of losing stuff and rebuilding, because, with cluster B personalities, when they have to go this far to this extent, especially somebody who is a racist POC, quote unquote, attacking somebody who's done nothing to you. I'm nowhere near her. Like, she has to travel to get to me. I'm nowhere near her, but she is trying to create an environment that is conducive to her tactics where I'm at. When you think about that, It's a mental illness with the person who's character disturbed. Like, you can't put two and two together. Like, you don't know that you can't tell somebody what to do, that you can't force them to do. But this is a person who has been a sex trafficker, who is a sex trafficker, who has gone after children, who has gone after women who have low self-esteem. She will go after you, attack your body, and cause you to have health conditions like thyroid problems, because with her, somebody probably told her about Black women, and stress. If you go under enough stress, you'll have thyroid problems. But see, the Lord, the Most High God, cut that out by having me fast. It wasn't that I wasn't drinking water, right? I was fasting, and immediately I'd go for a salad. All right. Because that's what we do. But it got to the point where I had to fast for longer periods because it was so intense, and it was the stronger that I became. And it was the higher, the more heightened and higher and deeper the connection with, knowing what my guides were doing and getting communication from them. That's why we fast. We fast to get clarity, because the cluster B horde is always trying to put us in this slumber, right? So the way that you get from being slimed is to get away from them. Number one, gray rock, no contact, don't talk to them. Number two, do at least a 3-day fast of something. You can still, do a smoothie fast, or do a salad, green vegetables fast, right? Do something that's going to bring life back into your body, because that's what they have been siphoning from you, is your life force, right? Those of us who are high, and I was telling the Most High this the other day. I was like, gosh, I've had so much energy, but because this person keeps attacking me, they will keep attacking you. They will have other people with their flying monkeys attack you. All right. They will have people stalk you. They will send monitoring spirits to possess somebody to cause crap with you. This is what they do. Understand that. You have to tap out of the matrix. You have to think outside of the box, because what is being done to you is not of this world. It's not. So even though I sent that right back to her, and I decreed, I said, everything that you have taken from me, I said, everything Olga Texador and anybody, any of her allies have taken from me, unnecessarily caused me to spend more money that I never needed to spend, will come upon thee, multiplied a gazillion times, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, and be bound to thee. So shall it be as I've decreed, with the universe's efficiency. And no harm or hurt to me and my family. You feel me? And I could feel that go in, because she knows she's not supposed to be attacking me. She has nothing to attack me for. Right? So, call back. Once you do that fast, during your fast, call back all your energy from every dimension, realm, and timeline. Call it all back. You understand? Because they had no right to take it. So that's what you got to do. Call it all back during your fast. Make your decrees. Write out your decrees and your petitions. Be detailed. And don't shy away. These people, this is what got me to not, like, when I heard somebody, like, I think her name was Stephanie Smith. She's like, oh, and don't gloat over, or brag or whatever. I have the right to be happy. You're not going to tell me not to be happy because of a sociopath, child molesting, rapist, sex trafficker is getting their just dues. Bitch, I'm watching that with popcorn and ding dongs. I'm taking a front row seat. Because what the Most High used to do was show me the reward of the wicked. That's what the Most High will do for you. They will show you your words don't return unto you void. If you mean it, I mean it. I want to see her, because what the Most High told me is the reason why they weren't cutting her ass off at the quick, and that she's still coming to this day. Just, just this week. I mean, it's every single day, and then having somebody new come in. It's like, okay, you're a Johnny come lately, but you're going to get your ass handed to you. I mean, I don't know what is wrong with people, if it's a certain, type of cultural norm to astral project to people and spy on them and try and influence their behavior or their whatever they feel towards you. But it's in the fact that there's a lot of women who are doing this, and that they're sexual predators. But you wouldn't know. People can, oh, it's men who have the highest, who are normally the cluster B personalities. No, it's not. No, it's not. When you get a covert, which is an insidious narcissist, somebody who is so skilled at hiding themselves. Like, I have never met women that are so skilled at manipulation. Never ever met that. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying it's like, and these are women, and I've said this before, that a lot of cluster Bs, narcissists, the cluster B character disturbance people are they're very ambiguous with their leanings, whether it be political, religious, or sexual orientation, because they're kind of, I'm going to take anybody, because they know that it's energy. It's not your gender. It's not your color. It's not anything. It's your energy, though. And that's what they want. That's what they're after. They may not, I mean, like, there's been straight guys, who will have sex with gay men for money, but you know what I mean? Like, it's they're married, but it's like, hey, I can do it. you know if it's about that dollar, I mean, I'm sorry, I can't have sex with somebody that I'm not attracted to. Ergo, why I've been single for over a decade, because I can't. And I don't think that's ever going to, I don't think it's ever going to get better, the dating pool, because even with the so-called woke crowd, you still get narcissists within the woke. I mean, it's a what is it called? These are feeding grounds for them, because there's that vulnerability that's being expressed. And they're trying to be a messiah. They're trying to line their pockets with grants and donations, and get their 15 minutes of fame. And you know what I mean? How many stories have we heard of the communal narcissist? So get away from them. How you get unslimed, get away from them. Do a fast. Take Epsom salt baths. Take showers that purify yourself. Put your Florida water in there. Take something, actually douse from your crown to just let it rain down. Coconut milk. And I forgot, because I've done this before, where I did coconut milk. I just poured it on my head, right? Because right now, anyway, gross. So coconut milk, anything, journal about it, right? Do mantra and Vedic mantras. Look up a Vedic mantra, or clear your chakras, really, because you got to get all of their stink out of your energy fields, right? Your portals. You got to get all that out there, because they've literally wrapped their tentacles and hooked in like a charger. You've been their charger. And just be, I mean, and just be grateful, because being slimed is not a cool thing, and it takes you a while to notice it. But once you've noticed it, you're never going to unnotice it. You're going to recognize the signs. I have had these guys try this, especially this one person, do so many different things to try and escape from being seen, right? But once one person violates you, it's weird, because they're always bringing somebody else in. That's why I said gang stalking, whether they're gang stalking in the astral or, telepathic realm, or they're gang stalking in the physical, or both. It's a club for You know, cluster bees and their flying monkeys. So that could be the reason why you're feeling heavy, uninspired, that you're dragging, your muscles are sore, you know, you just don't feel like doing anything. You kind of get depressed because you've been slimed, you've been encased. When you're sealed off from the light of the Most High God, you're sealed off from your spiritual team. Right. Another thing that I always ask is for them to intervene. I said, look, I'm feeling kind of loopy right now because of something that may be on the outside of me, or maybe something that I'm doing, whatever it is. I need you guys to, you have my permission to intervene. Just speak to me in a way that you know that I will understand. Right? So it's first is get away from them, disconnect, disengage, make sure that you're doing it, you know, do it, because every time that I've had to leave one of these these cluster B personalities, it's had to be on the down low. Like I've had to be real discreet about it. And the first time that I had to do this, it was the Most High God that said, don't tell her. They said, you need to get away from her and you need to be quiet. Because they pitch a fit. They expect you to take their crap. And when you don't, they become very violent. Especially if you are a Black person. Because somebody is out here telling people that we are passive aggressive. That's what the Most High told me last night. They're expecting you to be a stereotype. They're expecting you to just, you know, oh, woe is me. Everybody hates me. Look at the news. Da, 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 da. And, you know, or whatever. And I'm not quite clear why they're expecting it from you or from Black people. But I know I have never seen such murderous intention when I've rejected people than people who are rejected by me. You know what I mean? These are people of color too. These aren't white people. I've only had one white person. One white female, old 75-year-old bitch. Like, were you serious, dude? Like, when did you think that there was going to be anything like you know what I mean? As I said, they're in their own head about us. And especially because for some reason, I'm going to talk about this in another podcast discussion, but for some reason, Black women have been objectified, like Mary Jane at the hotel. You know, she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And she has all the signs, the red flags of a cluster B personality, of a covert narcissist. Like when the first time when she came, and it was every day, like I'm gonna follow you, I'm gonna astral project, and I'm gonna follow you to your room, and then I'm gonna spy on you and see what you're doing. I'm gonna do it during the day. You know what I mean? I would just really notice it at night because, of course, I'm coming home to wind down. You know, no apology or anything else like that, but she started to get real scared. Because I shut her off. But she was objectifying me. This is a married woman. So this, again, she was reminding me because she has stark white hair. She dyes it black. She's married, right? So, and she acted familiar with me before I even came here, right? Nothing happens by coincidence. And who she reminded me was the two people who I just got out, you know what I mean? Was never in a relationship, but I just got out of the city so I wouldn't have to be stalked and harassed. One of them showed up before we left. And that was the second time that one of my guides held me back because I was tying up my dog to go and take her out. Like you don't try and kill my family. You know, they have tried to kill us. With witchcraft, they just got through trying to do another death spell. And anytime the only reason why I could tell is because I know the signs of it. When my food, when the healthy green, you know, eating the farmer's garden or whatever it is that I buy, you know, with my healthy greens, when I'm eating that and that doesn't taste good or whatever I would normally buy, you know, salmon or red potatoes or whatever, and it just starts tasting bad in my mouth. That's when I know it's death. When I start feeling like my mouth is cobwebs, you know what I mean? That's death, right? So just get away from them. Do a fast for however long you can. Whether you're just doing a water fast, whether you're doing a green smoothie fast, whether you're doing a green veggie fast, you got to do a fast. Clear your chakras, because that's the way that you're going to get them out of your energy. It does not mean like right there. Anytime I'm settling by myself, anytime I feel pressure on my right shoulder, that's a sign. Get to know the patterns of when other entities or energies are in your energy field, because it's not always you, and they can't always. Basically, they'll prime you in the astral realm before they go after you in the physical, whether they're conscious of it or not. Okay. So anyway, this is all that I have today. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. Please visit me on TikTok and my other my other social media. If you'd like to book a session, go to my Fiverr account. If you'd like to take the 8-week course programs just by yourself, go ahead and hit that Fiverr link, and or type it into your browser, and you can get it. If you guys can donate, I would be very much appreciative, because again, it's like I'm always facing homelessness, but I always manage to come in, and I don't want to say it's not because I'm not doing my job, it's just sometimes there's life that's going on for the elite cluster bees, and then you got the bottom feeding cluster bees who are trying to get a piece of the pie, and it's very frustrating. So anything helps me to stay afloat and to get out this wisdom to other people, and to help me get out of being shadow banned, for you guys liking, subscribing, even if you just want to let the video play a little bit, would be great. So anyway, I love you guys. I thank you for listening, and remember, your blessings are in your ashes. Phoenix, rise.